chef. My name is Marissa Morris, and today I'm going to be talking about the science behind making pumpkin spice cookies. Okay, so I started off by putting 2 cups of flour in this bowl. First of all, flour is probably the most important thing that you can have. It contains protein, and when that protein comes into contact with water and heat, it produces gluten, which gives baked goods their elasticity and strength and makes them baked good. So let me take this off. Then, after I put in 2 cups of flour, I added a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then I added baking soda and baking powder. We know that baking soda is made up, well, both baking soda and baking powder are made up of sodium bicarbonate. They're both living agents that release carbon dioxide into the dough, resulting in what we know or what we see as the rise. The reason we're using both baking soda and baking powder in this recipe is probably because there's so many acidic agents in it. Pumpkin, I would assume, is very acidic. So one is used mostly for leavening, the other kind of to be the buffer. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my nutmeg and my ginger. And I'm saying these are mostly for flavoring, just as the cinnamon is. So we're going to make a little mess here. And it's important that you start off leaving your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients separate. So now I got all my spices in there. Let's see, flour, baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger. I'm just going to give it a nice little whisk here. Just nicely stir it up. No big deal. Okay, now let's move over to our wet ingredients. I here have a cup of butter, already nice and soft, ready for the baking. So this is our lipid, our fat, and we are going to add to it our sugar. We have regular white sugar, and we also have here brown sugar. And then we are going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Vanilla is a low acidic, so that's just another acid that we find in our products. So we add that. We are going to add 1 egg, and the egg itself is very important because, let me wash my hands real quick. Okay, eggs are they're important in the role of structure. They're high in protein, and those proteins coagulate, and so that adds to the structure. And then they're good for retaining more moisture. And what happens is that there's protein bonds in the egg, and they unfold, and then they take in water. So this is all of our wet ingredients. And before we add our pumpkin puree, I'm just going to mix this up real quick. And here, I'm going to mix it until it's nice and smooth. It might be hard to hear me for a minute. Then I forgot to talk about the importance of white sugar. That is, in the mixing our white sugar and our fats, there was a process here. Not only does white sugar, it adds to the volume of your baked good. It also adds to those air bubbles and carbon dioxide bubbles that help it rise. When you cream together sugars and fats, your butter, you're adding air. And then I haven't added it yet, but I'm going to, little by little, add in some of my dry mix and some of my wet mix of pumpkin puree. And when the leavening agent and the bubbles produced by the sugar and fat, when they get together, the air bubbles are enlarged. So this is good for the rising process. The air bubbles release carbon dioxide, and when heated, it allows it to rise. Also other benefits of sugar would be obviously for the sweeter taste, and they attract moisture, and then they reduce the gluten formation, and then it also acts as a preservative in your mixture. So after I mix all this together, which I won't waste time and do, I will put it in the oven, which has been preheated to 350. I'll let it bake for 10 to 12 minutes, let it cool, and then icing it with some icing that I made, and that should be it. So, hope you enjoy.